Vanity of vanities, says Koheleth. Vanity of vanities. All things are vanity. Here is one who has labored with wisdom and knowledge and skill, and yet to another who has not labored over it, he must leave his property. This also is vanity, and a great misfortune. For what profit comes to man from all the toil and anxiety of heart with which he has labored under the sun? All his days, sorrow and grief is his occupation. Even at night, his mind is not at rest. This also is vanity. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God. In every age, O Lord, you have been our refuge. Please repeat. In every age, O Lord, you have been our refuge. Our responsorial psalm to be read by Brother Al Flores.
You turn man back to dust, saying, Return, O children of men, for 1,000 years in your sight are as yesterday, now that it is past, or as a watch of the night.
If today you hear his voice, harden not your hearts.
You make an end of them in their sleep. The next morning they are like the changing grass, which at dawn springs up anew, but by evening wilts and fades.
If today you hear his voice, harden not your hearts.
Teach us to number our days aright, that we may gain wisdom of heart. Return, O Lord, how long? Have pity on your servants.
If today you hear his word, harden not your hearts.
Fill us at daybreak with your kindness, that we may shout for joy and gladness all our days, and may the gracious care of the Lord.
If today you hear his words, harden not your heart. Our second reading, Paul encourages us to set our hearts on high realms. The true sense of life is not bound to his word only. And the second reading to be proclaimed by Sister Grace Alcantara.
A reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Colossians. Brothers and sisters, if you were raised with Christ, seek what is above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Think of what is above, not of what is on earth, for you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ your life appears, then you too will appear with him in glory. Put to death then the parts of you that are earthly, immorality, impurity, passion, evil desire, and the greed that is idolatry. Stop lying to one another, since you have taken off the old self with its practices, and have put on the new self, which is being renewed for knowledge in the image of its Creator. Here, there is not Greek and Jew, circumcision and uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, slave, free, but Christ is all and in all. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God. Let's all rise.
The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Someone in the crowd said to Jesus, "Teacher, tell my brother to give me my share of our inheritance." He replied, "Friend, who has set me up as your judge or arbitrator?" Then he said to the crowd, "Avoid greed in all its forms. A man may be wealthy, but his possessions do not guarantee him life." He told them a parable in these words. There was a rich man who had a good harvest. "What shall he do? What shall I do?" he asked himself. "I have no place to store my harvest." "I know," he said, "I will pull down my grain bins and build larger ones. All my grain and my goods will go there. Then I will say to myself, 'You have blessings in reserve for years to come. Relax, eat heartily, drink well, enjoy yourself.' But God said to him, 'You fool, this very night your life shall be required of you. To whom will all this piled up wealth of yours go?' That is the ways it works with the man who grows rich for himself instead of growing rich in the sight of God." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Jesus Christ.
Good morning, everyone. Nagulat po siguro kayo kung bakit ako nagmimisa ngayon. Ako rin, nagulat. I was still bailing out to celebrate this even last minute, last night. Pero hindi po ako pinayagan ni Father Glenn. So, kasalanan niya. Mabuti na lang, I was able to prepare last night. Nagmisa po ako. Sabi ko, oh, this will be my good preparation. Kasi every single time I celebrate the Mass, pinagdadasal ko sa Diyos, sana naman maging relevant ang aking sasabihin at ang mga nakikinig sa akin may matutunan. At ang sasabihin ko ay yung talagang gustong sabihin ng Diyos. Ang Diyos naman ay mabait. Katulad kagabi, I celebrated the Mass in this place in Punta Fuego. Napakayamang lugar. Tinanong nila tuloy ako, naalala ko yung tanong ng isang kaibigan ko na mayaman. "Father, totoo bang hindi makakapasok sa langit ang mayaman? Is it true that the rich cannot enter heaven? What is going to happen to me? I was born rich." Pinanganak siyang mayaman. Talagang he was so serious. Nang tanong niya ako na, he also wants to go to heaven. At ang sabi ko sa kanya ito, there is nothing wrong of being rich, but there is something wrong of being greedy. Walang masama na ikaw ay maging mayaman, pero ang masama ay ikaw ay maging sakim. In today's gospel, it's very clear. There is this man, one of the crowds, and said, "Teacher, tell my brother to share the inheritance with me." Do we really believe that we are brothers and sisters in the Lord? Naniniwala ba tayo na tayo ay magkakapatid? And because we are brothers and sisters, we are interconnected. May connection po tayo. Sa Tagalog, napakaganda nitong pakinggan. Ang sakit ng kalingkingan, dala ang buong katawan. Magpakayaman-yaman ka sa bansang ito,